Hello and welcome. My name is Josh from the Majestic Procession, and in this video I'm going to show you how I do polyrhythms on the Roland MC-707 groove box. So first of all, what do I mean by polyrhythm? So most groove boxes, and this one's no exception, are laid out to give you 4 beats per bar, typically with 4 subbeats per beat. And that's the way we listen to most music. Most music has 4 beats per bar. So most people are going to want to do it that way. What happens if you want to do it differently? Well, most groove boxes will also allow you to have different numbers of beats per bar. So for example, on this one, if you wanted to do waltz time, which would be 3 beats per bar with 4 subbeats in each bar, that's quite easy. You go in the clip edit and set the length to 12. And that would also work for 4 beats per bar triplet time. We've got a triplet of 3 subbeats per beat. So that's all quite easy to do. By polyrhythm we mean something different though. What we want to do with polyrhythms is have different numbers of beats per bar going on at the same time on different tracks. So let me show you how we do that. First of all, I'm just going to play this cacophony here, and you'll hear there's all sorts of beats per bar going on within the same song. So I'll turn the metronome on, and let's turn some of the tracks off so we can hear what's going on. Now, this one's quite straightforward. On track number 3, which I'm playing here, it's just 4 beats per bar, you can hear that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to change and select track number 2 instead of track 3, and we'll see what happens. Aha! So now we have 3 beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's turn that one off and put on track 4 and then see what happens. So I hope you can hear now, there's actually 5 beats per bar going on this track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I turn track 4 off and turn on track 5, we'll hear there's 7 beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what do we get if we go on to track 6? There's actually 9 going on there, but I think that's a little bit too fast for me to count. So let's put them all on again and go back to how we were with all of them. And I'll turn the metronome off. So that's all very interesting. Let's have a look at now how we actually implement that. If we go over to the note mode, we're on track 2 selected there, and if you remember that was the one that had 3 beats per bar, and you can see immediately there's 1, 2, 3 lights illuminated on the steps. But it's not quite as simple as just going 1, 6, 11, that's not going to work. What you actually have to do, and what the Groovebox will allow you to do, is split each sub-step down into 100. So that's quite useful. What we'll find for the first beat is we're actually starting at the start, we start at 0 there. But for the second beat, which is showing on number 6 here, we're actually starting at 33. So we're not starting on the beat 6, we're actually starting a bit later, so 33 out of 100. And if we look at the beat that's on step 11, we can see that starts on 66. Okay, so that's interesting. We'll just briefly have a look at track 4, and again you can see already there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights illuminated on the steps. Step number 1 starts at 0. The second step, which is on number 4, actually starts at 20. And the third step, which is on step 7, starts at 40. So that's fairly understandable. What we want to do is have a generalisation for n number of beats per bar. Where do we want to put those beats? In the next bit of the video I'll show you in a simple spreadsheet how to do that. What we're looking at here then is a simple spreadsheet that's going to help us calculate the actual positions where we need to put our beats on the Roland MC-707, assuming that we want to have a strange number of beats per phrase. I'm going to start off with a very simple example though, 4 beats per bar or 4 beats per phrase, that I'm sure we're all familiar with. In my simple spreadsheet here, I've got in column A just numbers from 0 to 15, and in column B, in the first cell, I have the number of beats that we want per phrase. I'm starting off with 4 because that's a number that we're familiar with in music, so that would be a fairly simple example. In the second cell, B2, I'm divided 16, which is the number of steps on the MC-707, by the number that's in B1. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. In the next column, column C, this is showing us where to put the beats, and each cell is simply the number that's in column A multiplied by the number we calculated in cell B2. So I put a lock in there, that's the dollar symbol, so that we're always multiplying by that number in cell B2, and as we go down it's simply multiplying those two numbers together, so A2 and B2, A3 and B2, A4 and B2, to get these numbers here. This kind of makes sense. For 4 beats per bar, we're going to put on beat 0, 4, 8, 12, and then you can see we're repeating now. We've gone to beat to step 16, which will be the first step of the next phrase. And of course, for the Roland MC-707, the actual steps start at 1, so we need to add 1 to each of those numbers. So in column D, I'm just adding 1 to each number going down. So this is the final result where we want to put our beats. Now this entirely makes sense for 4 beats per bar. So we're going to go on 1, 5, 9 and 13. This is kind of 4 to the floor. And we see that the next one, step 17, is going to be the first step of the next phrase. So let's get to work. Let's try some more interesting numbers. What happens if we set this to 5? So the worksheet is updated. We've now got 5 beats per phrase. What we actually find over here are the positions where we need to put them. So that is to say the first beat's going to be on beat 1, but the next beat will be on beat 4. And what you need to do is then go into the menu for the position, the start position, and change that to 20. Remember that they're quantized in hundredth steps, so that 100 would be one whole step. And you can see here it makes sense, because when we get to the 6th beat, that's at position or step 17, which is actually the first step of the next phrase. So thus here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beats in our 16 phrases. Let's try a different example now. Let's try 7 beats per phrase. Update the worksheet. And now we can see we're starting at position 1 again, and then the next beat is going to be on step 3, but you need to start at 29 by going into the menu and moving that start position up to 29. The next beat will be at 57, 86, and thus your beats are evenly spaced. Now we're going to have 7 beats per phrase, evenly spaced. And finally, let's try a really wacky example. Let's have 15 beats. And what we're going to need to do now is just extend these down a bit so we can see all of them. I'm actually going to extend it down to there. So first of all, we can see that it goes round to step 17, which is the first beat of the next phrase. And here we've got all our 15 beats that we're going to squish into the 16 steps on the Roland MC-707. So the second step is going to be on 2, and you move the start position to 7. The next one's on 3, you move the start position to 13, and so on. And your 15 beats will be equally spaced. So I hope that's useful. Please leave a like and a comment, and see you next time. Thank you.